My name is John Mark Comer, and it's great to be with you all tonight as you're digesting your chocolate cake and hopefully drinking coffee to offset that. I graduate tomorrow morning, hopefully, with a master's degree at the age of 34, which is living proof that I did everything backwards. So, as you know, you're supposed to go to college and then maybe slack off for a year or two, and then go to seminary, and then start to pastor and teach the scriptures. But I thought I was the exception to the rule, so at 20 I dropped out of college to become a pastor, like you do, and became a pastor at a megachurch, ironically as a college pastor, and I don't even want to get talking about that. And to tour with my band, and did that for a few years, and not long after that found myself in the middle of a church plant, and quickly after that found myself every single weekend and during the week teaching to large crowds, teaching the scriptures to large crowds of people. And it did not take that long for me to realize that I did not know the Bible nearly as well as I thought I did. I had grown up in a church tradition that loved to brag that we teach the Bible, but I started to realize that I had been handed a whole set of interpretive traditions of the scriptures and the way of Jesus that often were shaped far more by late modern Western European thinking and even the American ethos than by the teachings of Jesus of Nazareth and the writings of the Old and the New Testament. So there was kind of an angry season that I went through where I felt lied to for most of my life growing up in church, and so I started to read. And I fell in love with the world of scholarship for the first time, reading N.T. Wright and Chris Wright and Richard Bauckham and so many of those men and women and scholars that we love and line our bookshelves. But you can only read for so long when, at a certain point, you and a 1,000-page book and a cup of coffee can only get so far by yourself. You have to ask questions. And for me, Western Seminary became the place to ask questions. The incredibly flexible format for class and study was an amazing fit for me, working full-time as a pastor and also as a husband, as a father. And it became a place for me to dialogue and debate and learn and grow and think and have everything that I thought was true come under fire in some really beautiful ways, and to hash stuff out and to think stuff through and to process in a place that was safe and flexible, but at the same time orthodox and historic in its theology. And so now 5 years later, with a degree that's supposed to take 2 years, here I am. And I emerge so incredibly grateful to all of you here on the faculty, all of you that are involved in leadership, all of you on staff. I'm just so incredibly grateful for this experience and for how it's shaped me and how it's changed me, I know for sure. And so I emerge tomorrow, hopefully, with at least 2 or 3 things. One, having unlearned a whole lot of bad theology that I grew up with, and as a pastor was continuing to spread in some really unhealthy ways. Secondly, hopefully having learned a whole bunch of good theology, having my entire way of reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation really turned upside down, and in doing so set straight in some beautiful, challenging, subversive, scary, and absolutely moving ways. And finally, I emerged just with a love of learning like I've never had before, and a commitment to never stop learning. So tomorrow afternoon, I will drive home, hopefully with a diploma in the back seat, fingers crossed, and put a good word in for me, if you would. And I will go home, and the odds are, tomorrow's my day off, the odds are I will make my way up to my home office, and I'll grab a book off my bookshelf, and I'll start to read, and hopefully I will still think of myself as a student. Thank you very much.